Most players play Eithne as a high DPSer. While she can do a lot of damage, she's very squishy and can die even to single attacks like this Geralt's Pirouette. Now I prefer to play her as a fast tank with the golden armor and a lot of items that improve her movement speed. Now I took Triss ulti, I'm taking Lefo's cleave attack, I'm still fast enough to run away and take his art. Now Geralt is chasing me with his Pirouette, but I'm fast enough and tanky enough to run away. Welcome to my guide on Eithne. Now Eithne is an archer and she has average HP for an archer at 385, but has quite a lot of mana point for an archer. For example, Yorvev, the other archer, has only 120 focus points, which is pretty much the same thing as mana points. And now her attack speed is normal for an archer. Also low attack speed at 90, but that's normal for archers and many mages. And like any ranged hero, she has quite a low armor and resistance and average movement speed. But the good thing about her that she has three different legendaries that increase her movement speed, and you can get this movement speed with the legendaries up to 330, so that's quite high. Now her skills, thorn dagger, it has quite high attack damage and very high range of 10 and quite a low cooldown of 8. And also one of the highest multipliers in game with 75. Now normally this would suggest that this is a great skill and it even costs only 50 mana, but the problem with this is that you're not building Eithne around power. She's just not doesn't really make sense to build her around power, and since you're not using not getting any power, the power multiplier doesn't really help, and so you're left with this attack damage. And since Eithne has herself a high attack damage with her normal attack, this isn't really helping you. You get even higher attack damage at level 10 with a sword, level 3 sword. So this here isn't really a lot, and unless you have a ring, which I do not really suggest getting, and this doesn't help. And also a bad thing is that this is a very slim direction attack, meaning that the dagger will have to hit the enemy right, and it cannot be it cannot be cast to the left or right of the enemy. It has to be hit quite exactly. And if you compare this to art of Lefo, art has a very wide range. You can pretty much just throw it in a general direction of the enemy and it will hit, but this has to hit exactly, so it's quite a problem when the enemy is moving. Now Path of the Thorn is the skill that makes her what the archer she is. It's a very long route. You can draw it in different patterns. You can draw a line, just a dot, a circle, whatever you want, and I suggest to increase the route by 1% by 1 second, and this will give you at level 4 a route time of 3.25. This is very long. When you gank up on an enemy team with your allies, the 3 seconds is enough to kill somebody. So Very, very useful skill, especially since with her passive and with her being squishy, you really need to keep your enemies away from you. Now her ulti is piercing arrow. It has crazy high damage, and it has also a half-second stun. But the problem is that it has a cast time of 2, which like any cast time, it can be cancelled with a stun, a pushback, knockback from the enemy. So while it has this crazy high damage of 480 and a range of 30, and the problem is that this, like with the thorn dagger, this is a very narrow attack. It has to be exactly, it has to hit the enemy exactly, cannot be fly to the right or left of the enemy, because then it won't hurt them. And when you couple that together with the 2-second cast time, the enemy cannot move for 2 seconds. So the best way to use this skill is, when you're capping a pillar and there is no fighting going on around the pillar, use this skill to attack the enemies that are fighting over another pillar or that are capping another pillar. On both maps, if you're on the edge of the pillar you are capping, you can hit both the other pillars with this skill. And another instance you can use this skill is when enemy hero uses a stationary ulti, like operator's black hole. When the black hole has been already there for 2 seconds, you can start casting your piercing arrow, and when the enemies come out of the black hole, they will get hit by the piercing arrow. Or an enemy golem uses this ulti, he's invincible, but he's not moving, so after 2 seconds of golems using his skill, you start casting it, and when he gets out of his ulti form, he will be hit with your arrow. Now her passive is that Eithne deals increased damage when the target is on the edge of her attack range. I think since her attack range is 6.25, I think it's not exact, it doesn't have to be exactly 6.25, but quite far, probably around 5 attack range, and it will increase the damage by 15% at any level. And this 15% is counted from the base attack, and the base attack is whatever you have from your skills, from your gear, from the weapons you buy in game, but it doesn't count, the base attack isn't counted by a potion. So if you use fist tech and it increases your attack damage by 50%, this the 15% from this passive will be added to your base attack on top of the 50% 50% increase from his fist tech. So an example, you have 200 attack damage and you're increasing the attack damage with fist tech to 300, and now this 15% won't be counted from the 300, but it will be counted from the 200 and added on top of the 300, so you have pretty much 340 attack damage. Now what gear to use? I normally use the ancient leaf because of the movement speed and the vampirism, and I'm not sure if the oaken heart or the sash of 1000 leaves, which one is better. and this one has a movement speed increase of 15, which is quite nice. But I like the health points and the resistance, since Eithne is quite squishy. Now, Mark of the World Tree, you know, the attack speed, the attack damage, and the movement, especially the movement speed, are quite nice. So let's see how I do with Eithne in a game. In this game, I'm going against Geralt and Leffo, which are two very bad players to go against with Eithne, because of Geralt's pirouette, where he does a lot of damage and also pushes you back, so you cannot really attack, and Leffo's cleave and art combo, which is very deadly. At the beginning of the game, I'm very fast. I'm running up to the buff and wait till the fight goes for the middle pillar. Then I can have my buff and attack the enemy. We just killed Triss and we're going after Geralt. Now capping the middle pillar, going for the third pillar and trying to cap it. And we're waiting for the enemies to come, and they are not attacking, so we are going after Geralt, who's trying to run away. Now I did throw my bomb, but it landed too late, and so we all are concentrating on Geralt, and unfortunately I get pirouetted, but Geralt dies in the process. So I'm keeping always trying to keep the distance between my enemies and trying to root them to keep this distance for longer. Now I see the buff. I want to take the buff because for any ranged hero, especially archers, this buff that increase attack speed are very good. Now again, keeping my distance, throwing my stun bomb, and trying to get away from Geralt's attack. Now managed to kill Geralt with the help of my teammates. I have 1050 gold, so I'm running back to buy the armor and going for the right route for the golden armor. Now again checking on the buff, taking it because this always helps to get the 100 extra attack and the invisibility. Concentrating on Geralt. Now I used my Fistech potion, which gives me 50% vampirism and 50% extra damage, and with this while using now I'm looking to use my third skill, because we were capping the pillar, but Leffo was moving, so there was no need for wasting my first skill. Again I see the buff, I'm going for the buff, taking it and attacking Geralt now, and it's enough to kill him with the help of my teammates. Now attacking Leffo, he's trying to concentrate, but I took again my Fistech. For big fights always use Fistech, especially, you know, sometimes in a one-on-one Fistech the enemy will run away and you wasted your Fistech, but in important team fights all three enemies won't probably run away, and you'll be able to make use of your Fistech and do a lot of damage. This is why it's hard to go against Geralt, because he can cover a lot of distance with his pirouette, and you won't be able to attack while you're being pirouetted. So always be careful for against such attack from Geralt. Again, use the root just to keep Geralt away from attacking you or running away. Now we're capping the middle pillar. I'm going for the third pillar, but I see on the minimap that I'm being chased and Lefo uses his cleave, so I'm running away and gaining the invisibility buff, and now Lefo already went for another target. With all the improvements from gear to my movement speed, I'm quite fast at 330, and that allows me to, you know, that with such a high movement speed, I'm a hard target to catch up. And even with the golden armor, I'm still at 290, which is quite high. Now, skipping the pillar and used my ulti. This is the best way, you know, capping the pillar and then use your ulti. Managed to kill Geralt, but unfortunately our Philippa died. Now going for this pillar that the enemy Triss camped, and again using my root. The rooted Triss can be easily targeted by Philippa's inverted Nova Stun, which is hard to land, but when the enemy isn't moving, it's quite easy. So always use the root to keep your enemy stationary. Now I'm getting hit by Triss ulti. I see Lefo's getting cleave, so I'm running away. I'm getting hit, but with my golden armor I'm still able to run away, and I'm still quite fast, so Lefo cannot catch me, and Geralt wasn't able to catch me with his pirouette, and I'm able to survive that attack. Pretty much everybody attacked me with their ulti, and it was still not enough to kill me. Now attacking Triss and using the root again, and it's enough to kill her, and always keeping my distance, throwing my stun bomb. Now the root finished just Lefo. Looking with the free movement camera, see I managed to hit Triss while capping the pillar. Now the third skill has a slightly higher range than the circus shows. Thought Triss was out of the range of this circle, I was still able to hit her and knock her back. Now the game is almost over. We're winning it really strong, so I don't have to worry to keep my distance anymore so much, and we can pretty much gank on the enemies and kill them very easily. So I hope you enjoyed this gameplay and this strategy. Remember to keep your distance because of Eithne's passive, the 15% extra damage, and go for a tanky fast Eithne. I think that's the best way to do. I went 23-0 and was a nice landslide. Thank you.